Welcome to Henshin Hangout with your host today, which is me, Airlim. Let's jump straight into it. Merchandise news so far, we've had a new muck be released, which comes with 2 limited edition gears of Lupin Red as well as Kira Major Red. Which then brings us into the next topic of the Zenkaiger fig art that has been released. But we've had our first kind of major release of the Sentai fig art with Zenkaiger, and also means that we get a brand new one coming out soon, which is Donbrothers, which is on screen for your viewing pleasure right now. And I've got to admit, this is a really nice figure art. I'm really excited because of this, because I really want this figure art. I want the entire line to come back because we've not had it for such a long time. And the last time that I remember it being released in Japan, which was Kiba Ranger from Die Rangers, which was obviously Tommy from Mighty Morphing, and it was one of the most popular ones that they ever sold. So that's good news. Why did they cancel it? No one knows, but I'm glad that they're back, and this figure looks absolutely stunning, and it's definitely worth adding to your collection. Some more merchandise news is basically they've now released the Don Oni Taijin. This is one absolutely stunning Megazord. This looks absolutely fantastic. This image right here is actually a decent one, but we've actually now seen what it looks like in toy form, where it's huge. It's so big. This is Bandai of Japan's biggest Megazord that they've ever done so far, to my knowledge at least. And I've got to admit, this is a must buy. This is, I don't know how they're doing it, but they've made me want to buy pretty much everything that they've released so far. In other Sentai news, basically we now have the Memorial Gearlinger, which is absolutely stunning. I literally want this straight away. It's 130% bigger than the original one, and with this image you can definitely see that buying the Memorial one would be the best one to buy, even though it's a little bit more pricier than the DX version. Over on the official blog of Bandai, they have actually talked about this. With Memorial items, they always have something a little bit different in them, with either lines from the show, something that's been recorded just for this, and especially some music. Now, the Kira Major Morpher had 200 lines in. This apparently has over 200 lines, and do you know what? I'm impressed, but my only concern is I wish this was show size, because I think this would sell out straight away because it just looks so cool. And now with this going on, I feel like we're going to get the Don Blaster, and I think that's the one that I really want, but I'm going to be picking this up. Let me know if you're going to be picking this up down in the chat or in the comments directly. This comes with 6 diecast gears. 5 are the ones from the show, and then obviously the one that they use at the power-up, which is basically the stuff that they use for Donbrothers and stuff like that. So we have that coming out, which I'm very much looking forward to. So some Donbrothers news. Basically from Toko Leaks, we've had a look at our possibly 6th Ranger for the Donbrothers series. We don't know, it looks like it is. I'm not going to confirm, but it looks like we have, because we see one person suited up as Don Momotaro or Donbrothers Red. But could this be the 6th Ranger coming in? And it's actually quite soon. Who knows? I'm very much looking forward to seeing it and how his costume is going to be, especially since Donbrothers has been really good and everything looks good. Is he going to be CGI with his Ranger, or will it be human form? Who knows? Let me know down below in those comments, and also in the chat as well. Moving on to the actual review of episode 12. And this episode was actually quite a funny and fun one, which showed a little bit more into the lives, as well as mainly looking at Don Momotaro, who cannot lie. And we find out that he can't lie at all. If he tries to tell a lie, apparently he dies, which I thought was a little bit kind of over the top, because it's like, oh yeah, that is that, boom, dead. So I hope that that was just kind of a over exaggeration, but it did kind of make me laugh. But this entire episode is about a new staff member who is a wannabe idol who kind of joins in to kind of work at the kind of coffee shop. I don't know if it actually has a name. That's one thing I've not really seen. I do love the fact that Harukuka is turning around and asking Kaito about how he can transform. And he's like, oh, actually, more importantly, you've got this new co-worker. I want you to show her the ropes. And literally straight out of the bat, she comes out and she's just like, oh, hey, I'm the new co-worker. By the way, do you know that uniform is really tight on me and it's around the chest area? Kaito responding, yeah, that was Harukuka's. And she's like, what? Oh my god. Like, you know, you're so thin. And I was just like, all right, great. let's just lead straight in on this one. Obviously, she doesn't like her anymore, and thus, therefore, she wants to leave the shop for a while, which kind of leads into what we find out with Don Momotaro. Now, as I mentioned, Don Momotaro cannot lie whatsoever. So when people ask him simple questions, like in the scene where he's at his workplace, they ask who took all the kind of melon buns and stuff like that, and literally Momotaro just goes, he did, which causes the co-worker to have to clean the entire office for a week, and is told by his co-workers, if you come in tomorrow, we're all leaving, so don't even bother, which therefore Don Momotaro goes straight to the coffee shop and actually gets a job. Now, I don't know if you walked into a shop in Japan that there would be idle dances. With Don Momotaro working, he sees Kira, who is the new employee, singing and dancing, and everybody loves her, and he's literally saying, hey, you should be in your uniform, and she says, oh, the uniform's too tight, and just says, take the pads out, that's literally all you have to do, which then causes her to completely eye twitch all the time, and pretty much hate him, and I generally kind of thought, oh, that's a bit different. Now, I said that I haven't kind of caught up on this. So when I find out that there is a new kind of bad guy, there is called Bestials, which they cannot be killed, because we have one of the main bad guys for the series, which I think his name is Sono or something like that. But he literally lands a strike on the police captain, but sees him transform, and obviously, no, he can't attack them. Which I kind of thought, oh, okay, maybe this is going to lead into something a lot much bigger later on. One of my big favorite moments in this so far of all the series is this conversation between Don Momotaro as well as Sonny, as they're actually having a conversation about that Don Momotaro can't lie, and the fact is that it's impossible for him to lie. So they kind of start talking very briefly about saying little white lies or what lies there are, and they start telling about the moon, saying that it's one of the biggest liars of them all, because obviously it shines down and uses the reflection of the sun, but the sun you can't look at directly, but you can the moon. And I generally really like this because it felt like a really wholesome moment from the entire whole series, and it shows that they are basically becoming friends. I would love this to kind of carry on a lot more, because I feel like it would be more betray later on, say episode 25, when they find out that they've been fighting each other and that they're mortal enemies. I think that would be more of a devastation to Don Momotaro more than anyone. You kind of see it in the next episode preview, but I think this could have lasted a lot longer and kind of kept everyone going, oh, what's happening here? So yeah, I just generally think that could have been the main part later. Okay, so getting into the final part of this entire review. We have Kira kind of hating Don Momotaro. She runs out after she finds out that the main idol that she said is her older sister has come in and is like, actually, you're not my sister, so I don't know why you're lying, which causes everyone to be like, well, I kind of don't want to know you anymore. You're not an idol to me. You've lied your way. And that's the entire premise of the episode, is you lie till you make it, or, something like that anyway. Which wasn't too bad. I just don't think it's the right kind of setting so far, and obviously telling the truth is a lot more better. With this, the entire team are able to turn into their robot forms, and it's kind of weird because I've never seen this in Sentai at all. I've never been able to see them transform into their robots first, and especially in Power Rangers, you never see this. But they turn into their robot forms, and it's really interesting because everyone's just like, I don't want to be a part of the legs. Why am I the legs? Why am I the shoulders? Why am I the arms? And they instantly just wipe out everyone really kind of quickly, and thus therefore able to kind of grow using their ability, using their same gear, and they start fighting. And it's just, when you see it before the big Megazord fight, you see this entire kind of it just looks weird. You've got this robot. It looks like a Zord has shrunk and that it's just around. So I was really kind of impressed by this, and I love this sort of stuff. So when they're able to grow big, they didn't go to CGI, which I generally kind of thought that they would do. So we have practical Megazord fights, which I generally enjoy, and then we move into the kind of finisher, and I can feel like this is going to be the main thing. They have made a 3D model of the actual Megazord so it can fly about and it can use its ultimate attacks, which looks a lot better from what we saw with Zenkaija. So generally, I really did like this. I love the fighting. It felt great. Now, to kind of reconcile everything at the very end, Don Momotaro talks to his co-worker and says, hey, kind of really sorry about what's going on. Are you going to meet your mum? He's like, oh, I can't because I've got no time. I've got to be in work. And he turns around to the co-worker and says, all right, close your eyes, and then literally transforms, jumps about, and actually lands in front of his mum and say, hey, give him these melon snacks that she likes because they're super hard to get hold of. And the co-worker's like, do you know what? You're a good guy. Thank you very much. And he meets his mum. And that's the entire thing. This episode was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a fantastic episode. And I feel like there is a lot more to come. I am going to leave it there. Let me know what you think down below in the comments and also in chat of what you think about Donbrothers. Do you think it is a good Sentai? Do you not? And if you want to see more of my content, then head over to youtube.com/Heirlim, where I post Power Ranger videos pretty much a lot of the time. But I'm also on Instagram as Heirlim, Twitter as Mainstream Live. So come over, interact, and say hi. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. And if I don't see you tomorrow, I'll see you in a couple of days.